Good afternoon, students. Suppose my hand is lost in accident. So can it replace or reform again? Never. Means the original hand will not reform again. But when we trim our nail and here again they reform or regrow. But in some cases, in some animals, when we see the salamander or the any lizard, we can see one part of the body is lost, then or the its a tail is lost, again the whole tail complete reform. So this is the regeneration phenomenon. In the regeneration, the lost body part and the tissue, any tissue or damaged tissue again reform. So for example, if the tail of the house lizard is cut, the missing part develops again from the remaining part of the tail. Some animals have a great power of regeneration and some animal it is very poor, like human being. And some animals regeneration is so advanced that an entire multicellular body is reconstructed from a small fragment of the tissue. For example, Hydra, Planaria. In this, the small part of the or the small fragment of the body which going to form a complete new Hydra or the new Planaria. Our body also spontaneously loses cells from the surface of the skin and replaced by newly formed cells. This is due to regeneration. So today we are going to discuss in detail about the regeneration in animals. First of all, we see what is regeneration. The regeneration is a natural potential of living organisms to replace, renew or repair worn out, damaged or lost parts of the body, or to reconstitute the whole body from a small fragment during the post-embryonic life of an organism. Now see the feature of regeneration process. This process is varies in different animals. It is greater in lower animal and the earlier developmental stages of organism. It is very poor in mammals, restricted with nails and hairs externally, but internal regeneration found in specific organ or tissue. It is more prevalent in the plant cells. See, these are some examples of invertebrate animals in which regeneration occurs, like sponges, Hydra, Planaria, earthworm, crabs, mollusk, and the echinodermata like sea star. These are few examples of vertebrate animals having a regeneration power such as fins and tails in fish, limbs and tail in amphibians and reptiles. In the birds, regeneration is restricted at the beak. In the case of mammals, regeneration is restricted to tissue only. External parts are not regenerated. Skin and skeletal tissue possess great power of regeneration. The liver has the maximum capacity of regeneration. If the kidney is damaged or removed, the other enlarges to compensate the lost kidney. This is called as a compensatory hypertrophy. Now see the types of regeneration in animals. Broadly, it is studied under three heads: physiological, reparative, and the anatomical regeneration. First of all, see about the physiological regeneration. In this type of regeneration, a constant loss of many kinds of cells due to wear and tear caused by day-to-day activities. The replacement of these cells is known as physiological regeneration. For example, replacement of RBCs. The worn out RBCs are deposited in the spleen and new RBCs regularly produced from the bone marrow cells, since the lifespan of RBC is only 120 days. Another example we can take as a replacement of epidermal cells of the skin. You can see in the picture the cells from the outer layer of epidermis are regularly peeled off by wear and tear. These are constantly being replaced by new cells added by the Malpighian layer of skin. The next type of regeneration is reparative regeneration. In this type, the replacement of lost part or repair of damaged body organs. In this type, regeneration wound is repaired or closed by the expansion of the adjoining epidermis over the wound. For example, regeneration of limbs in salamanders, regeneration of lost tail in lizards, healing of wound, replacement of damaged cells. And the third type is autotomy. In some animals, like starfish, some part of the body is broken off on being threatened by a predator. This phenomenon of self-mutilation of the body is called as autotomy. For example, crabs break off their leg on approaching of the enemy. Holothurians, means sea cucumbers, throw off their internal viscera in defense mechanism, and the break of an arm in the starfish. The regeneration also having a different types on the basis of cellular mechanism. Based on cellular mechanism, regeneration can be 5 types: morphallaxis, epimorphosis, heteromorphosis, super regeneration, and Wolffian regeneration. Now see, morphallaxis. In this type of regeneration, the parts of the new growth of the particular body part, it is due to the remodeling of existing tissue and the reestablishment of the boundaries of that tissue. Thus, in this case, the involving very little new growth. As a result, the regenerated individuals is much smaller initially, in subsequently increase their size and becomes normal after feeding. This type of regeneration is known as morphallaxis. The example, regeneration of hydra from a small fragment of its body. The next type is epimorphosis. In this type of regeneration, de-differentiation is of adult structure in order to form an undifferentiated tissue. Actually, de-differentiation is one of the property of the cell during the development of the organism. Means differentiated cell, diversified cells again comes into their original form or the embryonic form as a stem cell. That is the de-differentiation. So in this case, regeneration, de-differentiation of the adult structure in order to form undifferentiated mass of cell, and they are highly proliferating and accumulate under the epidermis, which has already expanded with 2 days. Bulge transform into conical lump and is called as a regeneration bud. And from that regeneration bud, the cells continue proliferate and finally redifferentiate to form an rudiment of a limb, and the rudiment eventually transform into a normal limb. This type of regeneration is a epimorphosis. For example, limb regeneration in amphibian animals. The third type is a heteromorphosis or a heteromorphic regeneration. In this process of different organ develops from the one that has been removed. The phenomenon is called as a heteromorphosis. For example, in shrimps, Palinurus, it is a lobster, spiny lobster. In this animal, if eye is removed from eye stalk, the new eye is regenerated. But if the eye is removed along with the optical ganglion, instead of the eye, an antenna-like organ is regenerated. This type of regeneration is exhibited by lower animals. So you can see in the picture that. The fourth type is super regeneration. In this type of development of superfluous number of organs or parts of the body, heads, tail, limbs, as a result of regeneration is known as a super regeneration. Means when we take a deep cut is made on the deep cut on the head or end of the planaria body or the earthworm. So additional head will be developed in planaria and additional segments also develop in the case of earthworm. Cuts in the middle part cause the development of both heads and tail. The fifth type of regeneration is a Wolffian regeneration. It is a special type of regeneration found in the Urodales and Anurans. These are the amphibians. In the Trichuris, if the lens of the eye is removed, a new lens is formed from the uninjured iris. The original lens is developed from the epidermal ectoderm, but the regenerating lens formed from the iris is neuroectodermal in origin. Thus, regeneration of the part of an organ from a tissue other than its original embryonic tissue is called as a Wolffian regeneration. The name is given after the discovery by the Wolff in 1935. So students, today we studied about the important developmental concept, that is a regeneration in animal with its different types in detail. Thank you.